Good morning. This is a podcast, Ancient Rome Today. Late September is known as the season for grape harvesting and winemaking. So, today let's talk about wine culture in ancient Rome. You'll discover how the Romans produced wine and how they typically drank it. Viticulture of ancient Rome has its roots in Greek and Etruscan culture. The famous phrase, in vino veritas, translated as, the truth is in wine, has Greek origins. The poet Alcinous of Mytilene used this phrase in one of his verses, in Greek, of course. Pliny the Elder later reinterpreted this saying in Latin in his famous work Naturalis Historia. In fact, the entire saying is, in vino veritas, in aqua sanitas. It means that wine helps humans express their true nature due to the alcohol effect, while water brings health. Viticulture and oenology were already present in the 5th century BC, not only in Rome, but throughout the Italian peninsula. However, according to Pliny the Elder, whom we have just mentioned, the culture of wine became widespread in the 3rd century BC. At that time, slaves skilled in vineyards and winemaking arrived from the eastern provinces in Italy. During that period, Romans and Italics no longer limited themselves to producing wine solely for domestic consumption, but also for export. In the 1st century AD, Columella, Roman agriculture writer, describes the winemaking technique in ancient Rome. The grapes were harvested when fully ripe, with sickle-shaped knives, and carried to the cellar in baskets. The unripe and spoiled grapes were used to make wine for slaves. The first specialized plantations were located in Campania, at the foot of the Petrino and Massico mountains. A hectare of vineyard typically produced around 150 quintals of grapes, with yields reaching approximately 200 to 300 hectoliters per hectare. Fermentation was obviously uncontrolled, which resulted in varying amounts of alcohol for different wine types. To adjust the alcohol content, light wines were blended with stronger ones. Honey, herbal extracts, or flavorings were also sometimes added as flavors. Some producers sweetened certain types of nectar with salt or seawater. Each winemaker also placed a label with all their information on the amphorae. Even at that time, it was essential to indicate the wine's place of origin. Then, towards the end of the 1st century AD, amphorae were completely out of use and were replaced by the barrel. The Roman belief that wine was a daily necessity made the beverage democratic and ubiquitous. It was available to aristocrats, peasants, and slaves. We're talking about the 1st century BC onward, because initially wine was available exclusively to aristocratic men. Wine at the time was always present on the table at banquets. It was diluted with hot or cold water according to personal taste. Hope you like this episode. Thank you for your attention.